Okay, we are live. OTNG sees, no, this is not OTNG. This is Saturday Morning City of Brass, episode 5. Today we have Brian running Erlin and Peter running Ahmed with his brave companion Azili. We've just added a new token for Azili so we can have the pseudo dragon flying around here in the City of Brass. We're a smaller group today than we were last week. Jason is working, so too bad for Jason. But the game must go on. So when we last left our heroes, there was an ascent to a tower here east of the Great Staircase, and I've made some notes on the map itself, which you guys may not see, but about the levels. So I think I had originally misinterpreted the arrows. The arrows show the direction of up. So in a level change. So I think before I had said down for some reason, but
Well, let's see, because it was perfectly logical looking at the
yeah, fly Azili over
stairs.
there if you want.
Trying to remember where over there is. Which
West,
direction is
west of you, west
west?
of the tower.
Let me zoom back in a little. Okay, Zilly, let's zip you. Go through a window. He can go through a window.
So you said that they show the direction of up, or is it down?
Up, yes, up.
Okay, so they go there, up, there.
Yes,
up.
so the arrow is the top.
Yeah, so I put some little level markers at the
Oh, okay.
Back where we were.
So that would So we didn't have
Yeah,
to climb
makes
down,
sense
to
because
walk
the auditorium it goes down, so in the top of the arrow that makes sense.
Yeah, I think I just mixed it up in my mind for some reason.
I think you did because it made
changed
perfect
it.
sense to me.
Off of the first map, I think, in the
Right.
courtyard where
The zigzag steps is where it made perfect sense to me because
where it was
goes
going
from the
in.
garden.
Yeah, in the courtyard, I had initially envisioned it in mind for some reason for going down towards the fountain, but it's going up, and
Right.
that was just.
So the gardens are above everything.
Yes, they're elevated.
That's what I had backwards too then. So yes, the gardens are elevated.
They're hanging gardens, but if we look at our sketch of the city of Brass from
my master's notebooks, yeah, you can just see it's raised up.
Yeah, a bit.
Well, yeah, it's almost like a little. The roads make it look almost like what's the river coming out of it? Never mind.
Yeah.
So there's rivers, and that's the lake.
The great fountain.
Oh yeah. I want to know what this is because it looks like the east wing of the National Gallery and the big wedge of a building. Because this
Block of cheese.
it's the cheese warehouse. Because we are currently right here.
Ish. Yeah, you're in that area.
That tower, yeah. We're hoping it's got a visitor center so we can sign in and be acknowledged by the library. This place is giving me the willies. I don't want to die here. I just don't.
All right.
I told Aaron I feel I'm really worried now because I've grown attached to my character, and that's never a good sign. If you can remain indifferent about your character, they will achieve great levels.
So there's just been a big fight in the tower with some of those brass guardians, and those brass guardians that stand 7-8 feet tall with these strange bows that fire bolts of pink lightning, and they're mostly heaps of slag. Actually, they're all heaps of slag, having been blasted by lightning and powerful magics.
Yeah, they were negated. 1, 2.
Oh, and I think maybe 1 or 2 are negated, right?
It just collapsed, yeah. So those did their
this one is
survive?
this is the one that's negated, right?
Yeah, did their magic weapons clatter to the ground?
Yeah, so this one here, sorry, I'm gonna shift click you back to the tower,
Please do.
Ahmed, and this one here is the one that was negated, correct? And I think
That
that's
sounds,
why I had this
yes,
note on it.
that
And
sounds correct.
so it's just kind of a tangle. Yeah, and I have it here. It's negated by Ahmed.
I'm just wondering if we can salvage one of these blaster things and use it ourselves.
So do you want to, it sounds like you want to check, you want to kind of see what you can salvage or scavenge from or this creature, maybe even
Yeah,
the great bow.
Hmm.
especially since I'm now out of magic missile.
Okay.
Checking my pockets. Nope, no more magic missiles. Got a 10-foot pole.
Um, so the so it has sorry, just checking my notes.
No worries. Can we close this door so nobody notices that we're in here?
Sure,
Hmm.
sure, we can count that as closed.
Other than these slagged pools of molten brass on me.
Well, sure, but we don't want somebody looking across the wall saying, hey, how come I'm laying dead and there's some strangers walking around that open door? Also, I think we should rely on your elven ranger cunning to listen and make sure nobody's sneaking up on us. So I'd like to think that that's what Tofaris is doing.
Yeah, so Tofaris is just hanging out here. He's having that because of the weird time dilation effects, right? He's like kind of phasing in and out of reality, of what you
Dang
perceive to
multiverse.
be a reality in this place.
That's a good way to handle it. Works for me.
Hmm. Hey, if the trees can put you to sleep, then
Jesus, let's stay out of the garden.
surprised we
That
didn't
was
get.
the other concern I had about the giant bedroom is, if the garden numbs you to everything around you, what the hell's the bedroom going to do? Don't look in the bottom drawer.
Hmm. You wake up and you feel unclean.
Ah. I was hoping the brazier of controlling fire elementals would help if we actually ran into a fire elemental here. It's like, hey, let's be friends, but it doesn't do that.
It's more like you're showing them the symbol of slavery.
Right. It seems like the whole controlling elemental thing seems very negative to me. I don't know if
Yeah.
Ahmed would want to do that.
If you seek power, sometimes you don't
Maybe
care.
that's it. See, I see Ahmed as the kind who he summons things that help him out or things to distract enemies or deal with things so he doesn't have to do it.
Well, you could say it
But,
was your master's. It wasn't his. He knows how to use it, but
well, that's absolutely where he got it. It was part of the whole thing, and that's where I got the sketch of the city of brass. And because my master knew more about the city, my master was not human. So there was something going on there. And he always longed to go back to the city of brass, he'd say in his cups. And the trick was to keep him just drunk enough to talk, but not so drunk to fall asleep.
and you were just perfecting it when he decided to drink the bucket.
He disappeared completely, just gone.
Uh,
He was gone long enough that it was assumed that I was the wizard, so it's my stuff now.
And
And that's how I got to 12.
that was years ago.
Oh my god, decades ago.
Right. Right.
He just left me the keys, and so I part of me wants to hope that he came back to the city of brass where he wanted to be.
Oh, I like that idea. That's cool.
Yeah, see, I told you, I've thought about this guy. I'm becoming way too attached. He's just going to die anonymously in the city of brass now. Damn it!
So there's a few things searching the brass guardian. The first thing that's apparent is the bow, right? It's sized for an 8-foot man, so it's quite large,
Damn.
and I'd say probably 6 feet tall. And the ammunition that's held like in a narrow quiver are like these slender black rods. They're not arrows per se, just like the shaft of an arrow. There's no fletching, there's no head. And the other thing that there's this a tablet, a leaden tablet that is sort of hung around the Guardian's neck that has some markings and some scribblings in it in a language that you don't recognize. So that's all the Guardian carries. And he has a
I do speak and read and write the language of the Jinn.
okay. Why don't you give me an intelligence check? I'll roll a d20 less than your intelligence.
Let me get my character up here. That makes things much easier.
This is not the language of the Jinn. But there's some, let's see, is that a 3 or a 17?
That's a 3.
3.
Okay.
My intelligence is 15.
But there is some familiarity here, right? You can see like an ID number, like 1478209, and then like a date and a few other numbers. They're like numerical references.
Does this seem to be connected to the identify magic that we've been following?
Well, remember the
glow came from this tower.
The identify magic was to try to figure out what was going on with the what was going on with the barrier around the library, or why you couldn't enter. And then you kind of saw this. You were able to identify this.
Connected shafts.
These lighted, these like Tron pillars of light that blast, into
so it's got to be more than just these things, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So
there's a relationship is what you just determined between this barrier and these points of light.
Locations. Yeah. Well, we're going to go ahead and take it.
Or at least the same kind of strong, powerful magics. If not a relationship.
We will take the plaque with us.
Okay, just note that down on your character sheet. Where are you carrying it? Just so I have it in my mind's eye. It's held on it's like a chain. It's like a tablet on a chain that's over its neck. And then there's some light chains at the bottom, which, connect in the back so it doesn't fly around.
Then I will wear it that way.
Oh, you're going to wear it? Okay.
Excellent. I like that.
Okay. Yeah, just note that on your character sheet.
I put lead plaque under equipment.
Cool.
Because I don't know what it does.
Cool.
All the cool kids wear them here in the city of Brass.
The rest of them have all been slagged, right?
Yeah, everything else is like a molten mess.
Lightning bolted. Yeah, that's fine. I don't know if these are what would get us in the library, but I'm just going to take anything that might work. I'm going to be grabbing. That's just telling you my strategy.
Okay.
And Brian, how tall are you? Can you pull a 6-foot bow?
Small.
You're a small elf. Okay.
Well, no,
I mean, a samurai bow is almost 6 feet tall.
I'm 5 feet tall.
Okay, so it's a little taller than you. You might be able to.
Pounds.
You might be able to. What's your strength?
8.
8. Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be. Yeah, it's not something that you can handle easily.
Neither one of us will be firing that thing.
Yeah. It's big and it's awkward and it's heavy in terms of its draw, right?
Sure. Okay. Well, we're still watching for healing potions. Are we in agreement on that one?
Oh, yes.
Okay, good.
Since I'm at 6 hit points.
Yeah, you're worse off than I am. We want to be stealthy.
I
think I lost us again. Where are we?
Sorry. Did I move you back?
There we are.
Yeah.
Well, should we check the perimeter of the tower? I know what we'll do.
Well, we can go around the corner of this. Looks like there's It goes
Zilly,
around this
Zilly's,
way.
Zilly is invisible. Whoop. He's invisible to the point I don't even see him now. I think I lost the token.
Azili is here.
Is he outside?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, there he is. Because we flew him over to look at the stairs. Sorry, I can't help but make dragon sound effects.
But yeah, we should check around the corner to see, make sure there's no other guys. At the very least, right?
Yeah, Zilly's sticking close to the corner of the wall meets, using his invisibility to hopefully not get squashed, because that would make for a quick, short adventure for all of us.
It would.
All right, Mr. Ranger. Do we want to check this door right here?
Ranger, but
You're just an elf? All right, Mr. Elf.
It's a multi-classed elf,
That's right.
fighter, wizard, thief, right?
Mm-hmm. Boots of elvenkind and cloak of elvenkind. Yeah, my hood of my cloak is definitely thrown over my head because I do not want to be visible as much as possible.
No, I only see it because Zilly can.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we tell Tofaris. Good luck. We'll come back for you. I'm listening at the door. Or I should let the thief do that.
Yeah, I'll take a listen at the door. What is listen for door in this game, or is it just a GM roll?
You want to listen?
Yes.
You have.
Fight.
We wish to approach the door with caution.
You want to fight the door? You have thief skills for hear noise.
Thank you for reminding me. That means I need my thief skills.
Here, I'll roll it.
I got it. For 40%.
Well, I was going to roll it because you wouldn't know.
Well, we won't know.
You wouldn't know if there was something to be heard on the other side or not.
I have a 40% chance. You can do the roll, sir.
No. Right. Let's see what we have here. What do we roll? Yeah, you don't hear anything.
Okay.
Of course, automatons don't make
any noise.
I thought there was somebody in those armor too. That's the
So
other
did
thing. Nice to know I can use my modification. All right, is the door locked? Can we open it?
No, I will check the door.
Hope there's not some burned up key we should have saved.
You see the stub.
That lightning wand is worth it though. I'm sorry. That thing kicks ass.
That's the reason why we're not dead.
It is. It is.
That
and my rowboat.
See, the door's not locked. Is it Ahmed who's opening the door?
Erlen.
Erlen, okay. Sorry, just clearing the door from the lighting layer. There.
Peeking. Oh, door.
So the door opens to a hallway that runs south. You can see like the opening to a chamber and then a couple of other doors. And when Ahmed steps through, you catch a glimpse of a brass guardian in that western chamber. So it's just a quick surprise check here to see if anybody is surprised.
I'm not surprised. I'm not.
Everybody's surprised, but the players are surprised worse, and the.
Oh.
So
yeah, we made some noise out there.
Yeah. It was the opening of the door, right, which surprised everybody, but then it was the.
Who's what?
And then it was the, huh?
You're not Ed. You're not an empty room.
Ed went for fried chicken. That's not fried chicken.
And you're not Ed.
Yeah.
It's Dave. I got the stuff. Dave's not here, man. It's Dave. I got the stuff. Let me in, man.
Okay, so Ahmed, I think I have you about here for the surprise check.
Yeah, I just seen the edge of him. Oh, and that's a bad thing, isn't it?
So there's an object inside that room.
Yeah, I don't know it. All I see is the brass guy.
Right, and The brass guy, what does he do? He readies his bow in this
Yes, just invoke
segment.
the ancient rite of parley.
Hey, kitty. You're gonna come up here.
I'm firing my wand of negation, having learned that lesson from Hobbes.
Ah, right. The one to
Sword.
negation.
Besides, it's the best of what I got. I can cast lightning, but I don't have the spell of it. That's better. I mean, the wand of it.
Yeah. All I can do is lock the door, which I could do.
See you on the
You're
other
kind of a
side, man.
You're kind of a beginning wizard, aren't you?
He's actually not. That's the
He's more
terrifying
of a
thing.
beginning fighter,
Yeah,
and
I'm a
then a
ninth
middling
level
wizard,
magic
and then a high level thief, right?
How are you a ninth level magic user who only has port?
because I rolled rather crappily on my
Oh,
spells.
okay.
I focused on things that were more useful for the acquisition side of his operations.
Well, acquisition's good. I get it. But you do have spells.
Oh yes, oh yes,
Okay.
including Dimension Door and
Oh,
Pass Wall, and
one of us has Dimension Door. Perfect.
yes,
Well, we know that won't work on a library.
I'm pretty guaranteed that one. This is a magical city. If it were that easy, and I'm pretty sure Pass Wall either. So those are two that.
We could look at those spells, and I could give you some knowledge and insight about that. But let's
Yeah,
solve
we
this.
gotta fight.
Let's
That's
solve where
later.
we are right now, and where
We
we are
gotta
right
fight right
now
now.
is the
Wand of
surprise round.
negationing.
And so he readies his bow, and he takes a snapshot at you, and then you zap at him with the wand. That's kind of the way I have it. And
Exactly.
here's
And
the
I've ducked behind the wall there, like you're very,
yeah.
very cop movie
Oh, so
style.
I'll give you cover there. So I'll give you +2 on the
Thank you.
corner
I could use it.
and +2 to your armor class. And then here's the Thaco roll. Thaco is 13. Oof. What's
You
your armor
suck.
class?
Well, it's an
So he hit.
AC 3, so it's an AC 1.
Yeah, he hit AC -3. So
Yeah, that
Jeez,
was
so much.
a really good
It's a
roll.
thin wall.
yeah, it does, and it does. It just punches right through the. Make a save versus magic.
That would be helpful. Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
Paralysis, potion, death, petrification, polymorph, rod, staves, wands, breath weapons, spells.
Spells. Looking to roll
Ooh,
high. Nope. Okay.
Oh, that was a bad roll.
So you
that doesn't
just
matter.
your your limbs are super sluggish.
Oh, that's right. It slows you down.
Yeah.
Fortunately, my wand requires about a segment of a round.
Right. So instead of being able to get it off this segment, you have to go the next segment. But he's not doing anything. He's just drawing again to fire his second shot at the end of the round. So you can get the wand of negation off. Go
I was
ahead.
hoping the lead thing
And
would help me against any of these guys too, but
oh, that's
no.
right. I forgot about the lead thing.
The wand is
Okay, and the
purple.
lead thing falls open in your cloak, and the bow comes down. From he doesn't drop the weapon. He just, he was drawing another shaft from his quiver, and
What he saw when I was hit, he saw the lead plaque.
yes, exactly, and
Mm.
the bow drops. The the direction of the bow towards you. He points
He
it
takes
towards the
he
floor, points it
takes a
towards the
less aggressive
ground.
stance.
Exactly. And,
Good, just enough time to shoot him. Oh, I was hoping this would help.
oh,
Oh,
you're
thank
gonna
God.
zap him
Smart.
anyway?
Fuck yes, yes. Besides, we need
We need
another one of
another one.
those.
Exactly. We need two actually, but we'll take this one.
All right. So
Besides, he's not
it's
gonna. It's not like he's gonna ignore me forever.
truth. It's 75% chance to negate. And this will. Oh, we already determined it was successful against brass men. because you negated one earlier. So yes, it is negated. It collapses into a heap, much like the one that you saw earlier. And I'm just making a note on your character tab about that.
I'm feeling a little slow. Oh, is the elf, because the elf was hit, and the elf is feeling slow too. Is he still slowed down?
It only lasts for a short while.
Very good. That's what I needed to know. So the elf can wander and check the room and the body and put the lead thing on while I kind of recover.
Yeah.
So when you
shoot,
there's another one in there.
What?
And
yeah, I just walked a little further for you and I saw it. I'm like, crap.
it's a surprise check.
No, I'm pretty sure I know who's the more of a surprise to the two.
Well, he's aware. This is just a check to actually see if you're surprised, and then it would be straight initiative. You're not surprised, Erlen. So it's just a straight initiative check at this point. The Guardian throws a 1, and you threw a 3, so you're going on segment 1. So you got the drop on him. What do you want to do?
Grab Peter's wand of negation.
Are you want to step back here?
You can step behind me.
Yeah. There's another one.
Okay, you step back. And what do you do? What do you do, Erlen? So I'm just working it out in the segments. I'm guessing.
No, I let Ahmed know.
So,
either he's going to have to use his wand, or he's going to have to give me his wand. One of the two.
So you want to go around the corner there and zap him, Ahmed? Is that the plan? Or you want to do something else? Okay, so you step around.
Besides,
and then zap him, and then and then that.
Okay.
That
marked off that charges too.
That collapses him as well. So let me get my notes, and I'll tell you what's in here. Aside from the 2 tangled messes of the
empty armor that drops to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Very bed knobs and broomsticks.
This is not E, is it? No. Where are we? Wrong hat. G.
I like having a token for Azili. It's adorable.
Yeah, and it's useful too, right? Because you get the visuals. I just ask that if you turn the corner and encounter something, I may not be watching the screen to ask you to stop.
Stop at that moment. Yeah, certainly.
I'll be right back to
I mean, he's mostly invisible anyway, especially when stationary.
But like now, when Ahmed stepped through and I saw a token, it's like, oh, got to stop here.
Right.
Yeah.
Grab some tea. I'll be right back.
Alrighty.
Besides, I can make sound effects.
Right. That's how I know you're moving the token too.
I figured it helped.
It's an audio cue. Let's see.
So I'm gonna go spend, like I always do, Christmas Eve with my brother and his family, the ones in Montclair.
Oh, fun.
The kid I grew up with, and his son's discovered D&D in the last several years, and he's discovered painting miniatures. And
oh, fun.
So I said, is there anything he wants? He goes, well, probably some more paints, and he really wants dwarves. I went, yes!
Oh. You're like, I have that.
Yes, and I'm going to be heading over to the game store and getting him some stuff there too. I like to spend my money local as much as I can.
Yeah, absolutely.
I only have a few presents to buy, so. And I bought myself a present for today. I need a massage.
That's your present. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to find a regular something like that. Just sitting at a desk all day just wrecks me.
It is. It's hard, and I'm on concrete all day, and even wearing my Air Jordan is still hard on me. I'm glad we're still alive. That's a good sign. I don't feel we're very clever for being level 13, though. Ahmed spends way too much time doing research, obviously.
Well, that's a magic user's lot in life.
It is. Real life kind of befuddles me. Oh, well, things shoot at me. Ah, wait. This is not good. That's a giant frog thing. Yeah. That was more than a little creepy.
What was?
Getting eaten
By the
by a
frog?
frogamoth? Yeah, I looked up the 5th edition rules. Man, that thing is terrifying.
Oh.
I have no idea what 1st edition rules are like for it, but 5th edition is... Jesus.
Yeah, a lot of these modules use references from Monster Manual 2 as well as Monster Manual 1.
Right.
Which I didn't even know was a thing until I didn't even know there was a Monster Manual 2 until like a year or two ago. And I picked up a copy, like an old beaten one, but it doesn't.
Mhm.
It's that shift in art, right? The art direction
Where
starts to change and becomes more
professional.
Vallejo-like, right?
Yeah.
Which isn't as quite as evocative to me.
I like it for different things, but I am with you, and I always loved it really felt, especially the monster manual, it felt like somebody had been out there in the field making notes, and some of the drawings weren't that good because you had to work quick or you're in danger or you're working from memory.
Mm,
But it always had that feeling to me, and that's why I like the raw beat up artwork of that early edition.
mm,
Partly because that's all we had, but also
mm,
because that's what it felt like to me as a kid. It felt like somebody's field notes, and the monster
mm,
manual was somebody had spent their life organizing these notes and going out in the middle of nowhere.
mm. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
oh wow, that's how Griffin's made. You know. I think it's why I like that character in the new Harry Potter movies, even if the movies aren't very good. I like the character Newt Scamander.
Mysterious
Yeah,
creatures or something.
yeah, Newt Scamander. I like the fact that he just loves these weird creatures and makes a study of them and keeps them safe, and I enjoy that. I always thought that would be a fun role-playing adventure. Is you're hired by somebody to get information, and you have to protect the wizard who's out there researching
Oh,
cockatrices.
right,
You
right.
know,
No, don't kill it. Damn it, I'm killing it.
that's right. I haven't finished drawing it.
Draw from memory.
That's right. We'll piece it back together later. I got it looks like I will have achieved one of my painting goals for the year.
Getting all those buildings done.
And I just finishing up the last 2 cats
Oh,
for
the
one of the
ninja
silly
cats. Yeah.
characters. Yeah, well, these are the exploding ones,
Oh,
which I think are eating
are
many of.
they have like dynamite strapped to them or?
Yep. Little boxes of C4, a little antenna. Oh, yeah, yeah. So I love it.
Funny.
But that's the last I have to do for that gang, too. So I now have 2 completed gangs, and I've got all my terrain done. So now I can run a really cool game, anytime. I have
Yeah,
everything I need.
yeah, and that's the
The goal.
curse of miniature wargaming, right? It's both
Yeah, yeah,
sides. It's
yeah.
like, oh, one side. I can handle one side, but then the second side is.
And I love having. That was one of those things. Brian was always big on. So
Yeah,
you should
Belmont
always
was
have 2.
always good
Yeah,
about that, right? That was
yeah. It was one of those things I learned from him. Like, he's right. You need to have 2 so that no matter what, you can always run the game and teach a newbie.
right, right.
Yeah. Which is why my dwarves and my undead are eternal kings of war opponents, who rarely, if ever, face each other. Which reminds me, Ryan and I want to play some of the new Kings of War soon. So that's
The
on the
third,
rules on
right?
the break. Yeah. I read through the rules and then promptly forgot everything I read.
Yeah, my capacity to learn new rules, wargaming rules, is just like zeroed.
Yeah, it's one of the nice things about this is there's not that many changes. There's
Yeah,
some new special rules,
yeah,
but the game is still the exact same game.
yeah.
And I like it. It's a good basic game. I get to move lots of soldiers around and clean up season.
Well, the other thing I realized about rules is I don't want to read all the. I already know how to. I already know how to measure ranges. I already know
Right,
what dice are. I already know what wargaming is or role playing is. I don't need all this extra garbage.
right.
It just it's irritating to me. I
For pro,
understand why it's done, right? But it should be
sure.
done as an appendix or as an introduction where all this stuff is set in the beginning.
Right. Or I
I
can skip it if I want to.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Maybe it is kind of done that way, but I don't know. It's my grumpy old manness, I guess.
We're allowed. We earned it.
Hmm.
A kid has, I say that in class, right? If a kid says, "How do you do that?" I said, "You outlive other people."
Whoops.
I got some of the sweetest letters from kids yesterday.
Oh, as like Christmas cards.
Yeah,
That was
just a
nice.
letter.
Yeah.
It is really sweet. Those when the kid's like, "I really wanted to get you something gross, but I couldn't think what to get, so I just thought I wanted to write you a letter." And I said, "You know
All
what?
right.
That's the best thing you could have got me." Because if they have money to spend it on themselves. You know what? You're a
Right.
kid.
Right.
Don't spend money on your teacher. Go spend money on yourself.
All right. What ho news have we
Oh,
got?
we waited for you.
Oh,
So you're in this chamber with the two collapsed brass guardians. There's a
mm-hmm,
pedestal of white marble that stands about a foot off the floor,
mm-hmm.
and the top of it is like crackling and sizzling
Ooh.
with
That energy.
with red patterns. Not yeah, like magenta in color.
Oh.
Hmm.
So while taking a quick look at that, I will remove one of the lead
Sure,
amulets and wear it, put it
sure,
over my cloak, and then
sure.
let's take another one for Hobbs when he gets recharged up.
Yes.
Okay, sure. So I will just put I'm going to put an aura around you guys so I don't forget in the future, like
Thank
I
you.
did when you walked down the hall, but I think we made it work in the fiction, so
Neither
that's
was
fine.
well. He wouldn't have seen it. I ducked behind the
Yeah,
wall.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Makes perfect sense.
Kitty, you're
He
pissing me
didn't see it till he
off.
blasted a hole in the wall. He goes, "Oh, look, there's the lead black." Because I'm like,
He'd be
"Blah,
like,
blah, blah, blah."
ah.
Thank goodness it was a stupefy and not a hit point.
Mhm.
So this has got red. It's got magenta energy crackling through it,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and they're guarding it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they were until you negated them.
Yes. I don't know what it does. I'm wondering if this is what we're seeking.
Hmm. I don't know if the lead plaques will do it for us, or if we got to turn the energy off
Well,
somehow.
we got to change our auras.
Mm-hmm. But I'm wondering if the amulets we now have.
Changed our auras.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I assume I can't see these auras and things because the spell has a limited duration, and I only have one casting of it, if I recall correctly.
If you had identify magic,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Okay, go.
we kind of retconned it, not retconned
Yeah.
it. We sort of figured a way to work around the blocking point,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
from last week. By
So that's something.
allowing a replacement for detect magic, but without detect magic, or sorry, identify magic, can't really
Yeah.
figure out how things work.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Makes
I
sense.
think I only have one casting. Let's double check that. That's in here.
I do not.
Yes, I only had one casting of it. I have Read, Shocking Grasp, Protection from Evil. A lot of Detect Invisible.
I have monster summoning.
I got Disintegrate.
Mhm.
So there's no words. There's nothing on it.
No, I mean nothing that's intelligible. It's actually like a lot of you can see it's like a lot of arcane patterns, that are twisting and winding through the surface of this little marble pedestal. Um, and it's alive with this magenta energy that's crawling through the patterns.
Now, please refresh my memory.
Mm,
What was the color of our aura when I saw it compared to the color of the aura of the
there
library?
was none.
There was no color. It was just the concept of this thing.
Right.
Okay.
You didn't have any of the same magical energies around you.
But it wasn't like a visual cue, like, oh, I got to turn myself into gentle.
Correct.
That would be awkward if we didn't need to turn ourselves into magenta, but did, and we're magenta.
Well, having put my hand in the hole, I'm loath to touch this thing.
This is crackling arcane energy. Why the heck would you want to put your hand in it? I'm not putting my hand in it.
I'm just wondering. Well, yeah. All right. Let's listen at the door.
Oh, you want to go across the hall?
Well, no, there's a door right here to the south.
South. Sorry, I was looking at a different map.
Just look at the map that's full of harmless things. That's the map we want.
Harmless
things and healing potions.
Yes, treasure.
This thing's important. How do I know? Because it's a red circle.
Mm-hmm.
But Azili doesn't like it. When you got up, did I like having another token for Azili? And I said, it gives me an excuse to make sound effects. And Aaron said, that's how he knows I'm running that character.
Yeah, that's how I know when you're moving it around on the map. You're spending time listening at the door. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
I don't.
And Azili's watching in this direction just in case something decides to open one of those doors.
Yeah, you don't hear anything.
I keep forgetting I'm an elf, and elves do things as well.
Yes. They elf about.
Oh, I gotta go find my. Look this up. I don't think I do anything in particular in this case, but.
Opening the door, it just leads into a small workshop, and that small workshop is. You can see on the floor of this workshop is one of the brass guardians that's all been disassembled and spread out, very like methodically and scientifically, like something was kind of dissecting it, but it's all of its pieces, all of its parts are all kind of spread out and arrayed on the floor.
Anything else in the room?
No, nothing else. That's the.
What do you think, elf? Which door?
Oh, I need to go take a look. I can't see. Sorry. Door? I don't. Oh, this room is just totally. There are no doors. Okay.
I'm back out in the hall.
Yeah. I forgot. I didn't realize that elves get a bonus when using a bow or short sword or long sword +1 to hit.
See? Put that in your macro.
Exactly. If alone and not in metal armor, elven characters move so silently he or she will surprise monsters 66 and 2/3% of the time.
Nice.
Huh. Forget
when you're hanging out with a clumsy old wizard.
Yeah,
Pardon me.
Yeah, we've got to be well in advance, 90 feet or more of a party.
Yeah, when you're by yourself.
Not consist of.
Yeah.
So
like Opie had that thing going too. Opie was kind of elf-like, wasn't he?
All right, let me go back out to there. So there was nothing in here other than the disassembled brass guardian thing.
Correct.
I'm gonna start calling brass monkeys. Those funky monkeys.
Funky monkeys. So we have door number 1, 2, or 3. It looks like.
Well, 3 takes us back out. That takes us back out to that's where Azili flew down to the end of the hall and saw a door. That's the other side of it.
That's the other side. Okay, I couldn't see.
Yeah.
The part hasn't been revealed to me.
Yeah. So Azili, that will take us out to the perimeter of the tower.
Okay. So, I think I guess we should go at the first door.
We should.
I will listen intently.
Oh, you're listening as well. Okay.
Yeah.
We're
I
very
think my ear's a
careful.
little better than the wizard.
We don't want to
Okay.
die. Yeah, I think you do have a better.
Not that it's awesome, but I think it's slightly better.
Hey, you know what? It's a matter of degrees. We'll take it.
Hmm.
So for your thief stats, I had modified your hear noise by your racial adjustments.
See,
Oh,
because
okay.
you think of these things.
Right.
Okay.
Glad somebody does.
Where's my player's handbook? Oh,
I haven't changed anything on the sheet. If you want
no, it's in the workbook in the Google Doc in the Google Sheet
to.
because that's kind of
40%
those
what
are
you
sort of
have.
my notes for your
Yeah.
characters, right?
It says 40%.
Or details that I want to share and track with you, like spells and such.
Yep.
I know how it works in BX for hearing noises. You know, it's like 2 and 6 for elves and whatnot, but I was just wondering if it was the same in AD&D.
Yeah, I don't know. It could be one of those ones where everyone else gets a d6 roll and thieves get a percent roll. Because why? Because Gary changes things.
And again, it gets back to the history that this was written. The base game was written by two different men in two different cities in a period of time when communication was not that good, coming from two different points of view. So Arneson was very much about the storytelling and the individual characters. Gygax was about the combat, and his initial idea was that the adventuring party was just a unit of soldiers, or the group of soldiers or militia that just happened to, be in the area and went wandering down there. That's why parties were big.
Mm-hmm.
So many died.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so the two games really were put together in, I don't want to say haphazard. He also wrote very differently. Gygax wrote in a very orderly fashion and kept things, meticulous files of, different things, whereas Arneson would just write the ideas on paper as they came to him and send those off. And there was one guy whose whole job it was to decipher Arneson's work. But especially when it came down to do Blackmore, because that was his world.
Right.
Yeah, so that's why it came out second, because nobody could make heads or tails of his notes, because they were just things he wrote for himself.
Yeah, and I think when Gary got to AD&D, he was basically just collecting all of his notes and articles from everything since OD&D and just kind of threw them into the DMG.
Well, yeah, the DMG definitely has that feeling. Aaron's pointed that out a couple of times.
Yeah, it's just very much like the collection of notes, right?
Oh, it
Yeah.
totally is. It's like,
Yeah.
what? Where's this?
It's all the refinements thought of as it went, which is fine. But it's funny now we look back, and at the time it was the only thing we had, so it seems so wonderful. Now we look back and go, wow, that's really clunky.
It's still wonderful.
It is, but
It
from
is.
our point of view, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, we
Which
spent
is
so
why
much
it's a
time
key.
reading this and arguing over it and with our friends.
Yes, it mattered to us, and it's one of the reasons I love the fact we're using it in Nils's kids on bikes game. Aaron and mine's characters, that's one of the things we bond over is D&D. So that's an interesting system.
Kids on bikes.
Yeah. Yeah. And I find it really interesting that we've come so far in role-playing games that we're now role-playing a group of kids who are role-playing D&D. Though we don't actually play it in the game, we really with the library, and I was rolling up characters at one point.
Interesting.
I just got an email from Necrotic Gnome. They've got their Old Schools Essentials online rules reference up and running now.
Cool.
That's cool. Yeah.
Well, I'm just going to use the thief skill right now to see if you
Nah,
hear
you
anything.
can go with whatever you want.
No, I know I
Lots of
can
hearing.
because I'm the dungeon master. I'll do whatever I want.
Number, you can roll d12s if you want.
You do hear something, but what you hear is not inside the tower. It's outside the tower. You hear like
Oh.
a meteoric impact out in the courtyard to the north, northwest.
Northwest. Okay.
Northwest.
A meteoric impact.
And that was the courtyard and amphitheater area where we heard the funky horse creature running around, right?
That's where you did see the black stallion with the golden horn thundering through the courtyard, striking fire and off
I'm
of its
assuming this
hooves.
meteoric impact, it's not just I that hear it. I'm assuming that.
No, you're the one that hears it, right? It's there's a like a tremor in the ground that that kind of rises up through your feet, but it's your heightened senses that allow you to detect this.
Ahmed, I don't think we're alone.
Oh, shit.
I sense a great impact to our northwest.
I sense an impact.
Great disturbance in the force. I'm gonna go peek out the arrow slit.
Okay.
Gives me 2 arrow slits to
I gotta look at both of them.
Well, it just lights up more stuff.
Yeah, for
I
you,
love that
for
book.
you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, and I think it works really well game wise. That makes sense, and I can describe if we need to, but because I can't see what Brian can see either, can I?
Correct.
No, we can't see each other's stuff.
I love the visual
Like
of
you
the,
shouldn't be able to now see back into the
into the
hallway
hallway.
where
Yeah, because I stepped in.
Erlen is. Yeah.
Right.
Which I think is one of the most fascinating aspects of this style of play, right?
I love that river that is just pouring into the elemental plane of fire. I got to vaporize before it gets there.
Yeah, and a huge, this huge gout of steam and mist.
Yeah, I'm sure it's part of what's adding to sense because the water was infused with the garden too, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Do we see anything out there?
Do you see anything?
I don't.
I like that.
Don't.
Do you? It's like, man.
No, I don't. Let's not fly Alzilio over there yet.
So, do you guys remember, sorry, what was down in the amphitheater? There was I just remind you that there was that huge treasure hoard down in the amphitheater that you kind of looked at and said, nope, not going down there.
All that treasure and stuff, yeah.
Yes, I do recall there's treasure there, but I also see that there's the whole plantings and stuff on the side of it blocks my view of it from where we are.
Right. And also the limited line of sight from the mists and the smokes.
Sure. But that did it appear where the tremor and sound is coming from? Direction?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where that's the gist that that Erlen got when he was like crouching at the door listening, and then all of a sudden there's like this thump that only he feels that kind of shivers up through his feet, and
in his elven senses.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Legolas, what do your elven eyes show us? Racist bastard.
All
right, well, I say we check out our little this door then.
Okay, I was just waiting for you to return because I was not going to open the door without the wand of negation being nearby.
Yeah, and I'm hoping we don't get shot at because now we are allies. Everybody, now that we have enough plaques for all of us.
So this
mine is outside of my cloak, so it's more easy.
This room is.
I meant to ask. Sorry, Aaron, for interrupting. But in the room with the disassembled guardian, the brass monkey, was that guardian's plaque lying there also, or was that an absence?
Oh, that's a good question.
It was there, and that's the one that you gave to. That's the one that you recovered for Tolfaris.
Okay.
And I just gave it to him.
Yeah, I'm just wondering. I'm just trying to think if it's like a golem where you have to have certain words on it to activate it, and golems don't actually operate until you put the words of power in its mouth or in the back of the head or whatever on the scroll.
Right. Oh, you're worried about it like coming back to reassembling itself and coming for you,
or just trying to figure out more about how all this works.
Got you.
Yeah, and I'm a little worried about things reassembling. So looking in this room, do I get shot by golden spikes?
No, it's an armory. There are racks loaded with weapons, bows and arrows. These are man weapons, not guardian weapons. Many spears, many bows, many arrows, and those kind of accoutrements.
So the armor, does it look? Is it like vanilla armor? Does it have some sort of engravings or markings?
It's beautiful. It's intricate. It's
doesn't appear to be magic.
It's not elven, in its sense of beauty, but it's different.
And it's metal, right? So
it's metal.
The elf doesn't want to wear it, and I certainly don't want to wear it. But weapons-wise, can we find
anything
in here that...
It's purely weapons. It's not, there's no armor or things.
And there's mundane weapons, so it's not like there's...
Well, we don't know.
Yeah, it's there.
I mean, it's not like more of the 6-foot magical bows with...
Correct. No guardian weapons in here.
That's the word.
Yeah. All human, all man-sized weapons.
Hold on a sec. I'll be back in just a second, guys.
Sure.
Okay.
Do you want to do any? Do you want to do anything in the armory, or do you want to?
I will look through and see if there's anything that looks different than the other stuff. Just kind of casually walking through while
Sure.
Ahmed is contemplating the nature of the universe.
Okay. It's G. Damn it.
It's like if there's something that's like really different. I'm like, why does this look different?
Okay. You do find 2 of the guardian bows.
Okay.
Of the large guardian bows, and with them are a number of their strange ammunition. The spears, the bows, the arrows. 20 spears, 3 bows, 100 arrows. They look remarkable. They're quite likely magical, but they're not. But that's all you can determine about them.
Would any of these guardian arrows work with my short bow? I'm assuming probably.
They're quite long. You might be able to fire one from it.
Okay.
Do you want to try that? Do you want to experiment with that?
I'll take a couple of those long arrows, and kind of tie them up and tie them to my pack for the moment.
Okay, just let's see. There's a total of 18 in between the 2.
Don't know. 18 feels like a carry, but you never know.
Yeah, there's 9 for each
quiver.
For each quiver.
9.
You can take as many as you want, but
yeah, it gets to be bulky, right?
Right.
All right,
I'm
back.
A good pile of them.
What did you accumulate here?
He was just inspecting the weapons in the tower and found 20 spears, 3 bows, 100 arrows, 2 of the brass guardian bows, and some of the ammunition. And the ask from Erlen was, could I use the guardian ammunition from my short bow? I said, maybe. Do you want to try? But he said, no, I'll just take some of it with me.
Yeah,
I
take a
didn't want to
quiver.
create any noise right now. I did. I took 9 of the arrows.
Yeah, good, because you never know. And if anything else, maybe we can figure out a use for them if we survive and get home.
The
Get locked
normal
in our own wizard's
bows.
tower.
You said the normal bows. Those there are normal sized arrows. Those.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I will take 3 of those to round out 3 I've shot earlier. So I'm just returning my quiver back to full.
Okay.
Is there a reason you're carrying a short bow and not a long bow?
That's a great question. We just
You're an
talked
elf.
Yeah. Longbow's tall. Do they do different? I just wrote it down as a short bow. I don't
There
know
are
what they
different ranges and there are different size considerations, right? A longbow often is as tall as the bowman, and the short bow is a little bit is a little
more
more
compact.
is smaller, right? A little more like what we think about a bow, like
Mhm.
like that you might find at a Boy Scout camp kind of thing,
Mhm.
right?
I kind of figured an elf that does mostly sneaking wouldn't be wanting to lug around a bow, but
Yeah,
which is more
I
kind
think
of perception.
that makes sense to me.
Because when you break it down, it would be a little more easier to work with than a longbow.
Hmm. Peter, you might be on mute.
Oh, I am on mute. Sorry.
Okay. So did say that some of the he doesn't help the wizard. Never mind. Some of the items may have been, the arrows might have been magic. So
Yeah,
I
they're remarkable. The things here, and they might be magical. You wouldn't know until you use them or
Mhm.
in this
Right.
context, right? You could identify magic, but you don't have identify magic.
Don't have identify magic. So I have
Um,
9 of the guardian arrows and 3 of the other arrows just to round it
sure,
out.
you can just call them tower arrows if you want, or because that's where you are. You're in a big tower. Whatever is useful for you.
Yeah, I've got notes on my character sheet.
Okay.
Before I sign out, I do think I'd like to help explore the next room. I'm
Okay.
hoping there's
Let's do
some potion somewhere.
let's do the last room,
Call it.
and then we'll wrap up because Peter has an appointment at 9:30, I think you said.
Oh, that's right. You
Yeah,
did mention
yeah.
that.
So inside this chamber, it's windowless,
Mm.
much like the armory was. All of the light uh, um, pours in from the from the ceiling, the dome work and the arrow slits. But here is a, a grim scene of a big pentagram painted out on the floor, and braziers and tongs and uh,
Mm.
uh, like a really long cat of nine tails that's made out of iron and a few other things
Mm.
in that
It's a bad place.
in that motif, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are some, and there, yeah, that kind of stuff. So good. Let's go ahead and stop. Let's go ahead and stop here. Any hits or misses? Why don't we start with Brian? Any hits or misses from our short session today,
Oh, definitely hit was
Erlen?
finding something that keeps me from getting shot by those guardians.
Oh, right. Yeah,
They
that was
have
a big
they
deal.
have hurt my poor little guy. So that was big hit, big win for me right there. Miss was kind of missing having Hobbs with us. I like
Sure.
having another voice, and his perspective is always cool. So kind of miss having. I understand why, but still miss him at the table. So
He's a lot smarter
Absolutely.
than I am too. I miss that.
Absolutely. I don't know about that. They're just different perspectives, right?
yeah.
How about for you, Peter? Any hits or misses?
It's always a hit to play, but I'm with Brian. I feel a hit is that we've solved something. We figured something out. Still
Mm-hmm.
don't know enough. I'd be nice up to far as back to help figure out something about this glowing column.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the miss, is that Hobbs wasn't here.
Cool. Cool. Yeah, and for me, it was the big hit was having some time to do a little bit of prep last night, so that was fun for me. Maybe the miss was all we got to do was mess around in the tower, but that was still a thing. So
No,
Yeah, I feel like we accomplished something actually.
yeah, and we didn't die.
Exactly.
there's no dying. All right, I'm gonna kill the recording.